can we help you to do the same? And then we will have Aman, who will talk about the screen by screen CPCB requirements which have come for PWP, plastic waste processors, in 15 minutes. So let me just begin, and people will keep joining. I would only request if you could mute your lines. It'll be easier understood by everyone. So please mute your lines, and please use your chat box for putting your comments as well as in your introductions. So please first mute your line. Yeah. If there's somebody who would like who's unmuted, please mute your line, Mr. Shambhuling Patil. Please could you mute your line? Yeah, everyone, please just mute your line because it will be easier for others to understand uh, as I'm beginning this presentation. So please mute your line. Yeah. So good. Thanks, Sarika and everyone who has joined this call, and I'm sure there are other people who are joining in. And I'm going to begin my short presentation by the first slide, and I'm hoping if you can see it. Please just continue to write on the chat box so that we can get your information. So today's session is all about AFR to EPR, and all of you definitely know AFR. So I will not, talk in details about AFR, but I am going to talk about the on the right hand side, as you can see, nearly 20 lakhs tons, or nearly 2 million tons of EPR is required by the brands in various categories of plastics under plastic waste rules. So you can see that right in front of you. And category 2 and category 3, flexible and MLP, is something a cement plant consumes by way of AFR. Many a times, it comes shredded and all processed, and many a times it comes as municipal solid waste, and it is a part of the thing. Hardly it is rigid and compostable, so I'm not going to talk about that a lot. But today's discussion is all around this. So, as I mentioned, the agenda post introductions is to see how to get the highest TSR at the lowest possible cost. Okay, so you're on one side you're getting highest renewable, and on second side you're also getting the lowest cost. So I'm going to talk about that, and then Ulas Bhai is going to talk about how to have AFR enhancement at no enhance your AFR, optimize your AFR by with zero, nearly zero capital cost. So it's that no, not a big shutdown, not a major capital expansion, but how to enhance your AFR percentages. Third is then Aman will take details screen by screen EPR portal for you, which has come very recently live on the system for cement co-processors. They're extremely interesting ideas there and solutions, but most importantly, there are a lot of documentation and there will be a lot of questions. So at the end, there is a lot of time that we are kept more than 30 minutes for question answers and clarifications, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to answer a lot of questions because we have done a thorough research in this space. Okay. So, what can we do going forward? And this is the topic of the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes of discussion, is that zero capital cost AFR increase. How can we have AFR increase in your plans at a zero capital cost? So, creation of additional capacity can be from either optimizing your AFR infrastructure or even optimizing the AFR mix, the mix between the liquids and the solids, and also the agri, non-agri, and everything else. Second is, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the mix and sourcing, but AFR infrastructure is the left-hand game for Ulas Bhai. So he's going to talk about it. Second thing then we talk about is the quality and of AFR supply and how to get you AFR at the possible from variety of sources, which enhances your CV. And the last one is that how do you generate EPR from your existing AFR raw materials, and how do you get additional revenues? Like we have already spoken to a lot of people on this call who are already on this call, and otherwise that we have substantial orders from the brands, and we can definitely pick up your additional EPR credit quantities. Okay, so let me show you some screens, but I will not take away the thunder from Aman Gupta's presentation. But these are the screenshots from CPCB portal, where the first slide is talking about how will the production of EPR credits happen. Now, this is the production of EPR credits, but which is similar to production of your raw material to finished goods. But more importantly, as I mentioned, that there's a huge amount of EPR target. Then there is another important slide, again picked up. This is a screenshot from the CPCB's documentation. It says that you cannot start generating credit till your site is audited by a region officer. So, and that process is also already, put together, and it's already hard coded into the EPR portal. So it's already there. Now you have to just go by it, which means that DO will be will assign the inspection to the RO. RO will inspect. They'll inspect it on the system, which means on the portal. They will have a standard checklist. They will decide your composition. They will decide what is your co-processing factor. They will decide how much AFR percentage you use. And once that is decided, till the next time the audit happens, that stays for you, going forward for conversions. Then there is a very interesting thing that you have to actually put your entire process AFR as a supply chain process, which means that you have to not just buy the AFR on the system, on the CPCB system, but you also have to consume it with clinker. And since the ratio is already fixed by the RO, the clinker production and sale will decide how much AFR which has been consumed as per the system. And for that only, basis the percentage of plastics within that AFR, which has also which will also be pre-decided by the RO in his inspection, you will automatically be credited of EPR for category 2 and category 3. Okay. So not just this, as you go forward, you will also see, in fact, as a part of yearly exercise, and definitely as a part of beginning, you will have to you can do your own self-testing, or you can do your own you can do a third-party test to define how much is the plastic percentage in your AFR. Okay, now these are not one-time data. This is a data which you ideally will have over a period of 1 quarter, 2 quarters. So it's like an average data, and that is something which will be checked by the RO. As I mentioned, that it is following a process of supply chain, the conversion of AFR raw material to into as part of the entire clinker manufacturing process, and finally into clinker sale, which will automatically credit back the EPR to the wallet in categories in which you have already decided. So this is one part of the thing where the inventory of credit will also be reflected in the wallet, in your wallet, which means that you will generate credits into the wallet, EPR wallet, and then later on you can assign the credit away and transfer it to the brands, or even transfer it to yourself, because if you are also registered as a producer, importer, and brand owner, you will also offset your own EPR credits with the credits that you have generated. So important thing for me to say here is that lot of cement brands have already gone ahead and registered themselves as brand owner. We know of 8 brands already, and we know the quantities because it's already registered within CPCB site. So we can see how much quantum is there for which category of plastics. So for those specific category of plastics, for those EPR, brands will have to offset against this credit which is generated, or they can always go ahead and buy it from somebody else's wallet. Okay, then CPCB also gives you a dashboard, which is especially for PWP, a cement plant, a co-processor, in which it tells you what is the stage of your registration, what is the stage of your re-registration, how much is your purchase. Now, this purchase is not your cement purchase, this is not your limestone purchase, this is the AFR purchase. How much AFR have you purchased? And from the AFR, since you have already defined a ratio, which has been certified by the RO, you will be, once you produce the clinker, and when you sell the clinker, you will have the EPR in your wallet. So it shows the wallet, okay? And at the last, it says credit exchange, which means that you can transfer this extra credit which you have to somebody else. Maybe you are consuming some of it, you are selling some of it. So again, Pro India is the one which helps you to sell, which helps because we are connected to so many brands. We have our own set of requirements. Okay. So a little bit about Pro India. We are connected to the entire network of waste management companies and their respective municipalities to procure AFR and supply to cement plants. We have been doing this in the past also. So the only difference now will be that now we will have to do it in the system. Earlier, we were actually generating all these documents and giving it to brands along with a cement co-processing certificate from the cement companies. But now we will have to come to you and you will generate and you will transfer the certificate directly from your system. So we have been trying to make this company from linear to circular. The entire idea is to make it into a circular economy. You can see the example. This was my Coca-Cola example in 2012 when I was the chief sustainability officer then, to actually take away the plastic bottles from the factories and put them into recycling, make polystable fibers, and even make t-shirts and uniforms, something which is continuing in Coca-Cola even today. So we want to convert this industry from informal to formal, organized, and IT enabled. And we have worked in the entire plastic value chain. So we are wanting to make sure that we are a complete value chain partner to you, but also to recovery sources, collection centers, transportation, processing, and recycling, and also recycled products. We have great associations with TERI, IPMA, MRAI, NIFT, IIT, and several others. So that's how we have actually been solution providers to KPMG, conference providers and matter providers to IPMA. We have been subject matter experts for various organizations like these. So we cater to a lot of clients, FMCG, auto, and capital goods. I know these names and brands do not represent our clients because we can't reveal our clients. We have just given you a screenshot, but we can't divulge our set of clients. We also have partnership with a lot of waste management companies. Some of them may be servicing you already, and you may be knowing that they are servicing your requirements, but then they have been in the past servicing our requirements as well. So this is our team with me. Mr. Manmohan Vesh is already on the call. Shweta is head of sustainability. Meenakshi takes care of EPR. Rishabh takes care of brand business development, and Aman is already introduced himself. We also have a advisory board with Dr. Sunil Pandey, who you may be knowing, Terry, head of solid waste, Sajid, Bala, and Prasad Nagul. Prasad has serious experience in the NSE National Stock Exchange IT space and very useful when we were trying to create plastic exchange ourselves. But now CPCB has taken over the idea. Okay, so and we also have a set of interns who have come and helped us, and they keep coming. Almost 20 of them every year. And for especially for you on this call, this is our set of people who are ready to help you in because they're all from cement industry. Other than me, everybody else is from cement industry. Me and Aman, of course. So Mr. Manmohan Vesh with 40 years in mining, and Mr. Praveen Kumar, who has actually set up projects for AFR, and also geologist by trade, and setting up factories closer to mines, buying land and things like that. And Mr. Saurabh Barua, ex EVP Ultratech. So that's about it from me right now. I wanted to give you a high level understanding of this, of what we are doing, and also how we can help you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to request Mr. Ulas Bhai to share his screen and take you through a little bit on what is the AFR and in terms of MSW, and how can we enhance that for you in terms of infrastructure, without huge infrastructure improvement, but maybe much better optimization. Some of this work Ulas Bhai and I have been doing in the past with some cement companies. We have been doing this work together. It's more like a techno-commercial exploration, networking, providing you more sources, and also enhancing and optimizing your efficiencies. So over to Ulas Bhai. Ulas Bhai, if you could share your screen.
Yes, I'm just trying to do that. Just a second.
Meanwhile, people can type their questions in the chat box. It'll be very nice to have those questions ready when we come towards the Q&A.
So can you share? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So quickly, I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to give you some salient features of how the cement industry and EPR. There's a great relation, and how they can be a fantastic business opportunity in terms of reducing our costs or improving our TSR, etc., etc. So basically, I call this presentation therefore as a workable and viable business opportunity when we are talking about AFR to EPR. In the cement industry, there are three different EPR opportunities for us. One is, because we are a PIBO and we need to spend towards our obligations of EPR, we need to reduce our costs. So if we reduce the cost, there's a business opportunity for us. One can be PRO, that means we do the work for other brands and then we generate a business opportunity there. And there are already some cement plants who are actively doing that. And the last one is the co-processor, which is, I think, the most important one, which only cement plants are able to do that and continue to do it. So when we talk about cement industry and EPR, cement industry is a very important partner in the implementation of EPR. One, because it is able to co-process all those, category 2 and category 3 plastic waste, and also in terms of, facilitating sustainable management for the packaging items which are getting into waste streams. It can also participate in collection, segregation, and recycling operations in the entire supply chain process by way of PRO. It can facilitate the management of materials which are dumped at the dump sites and facilitate also, giving the EPR obligations or fulfilling the EPR obligations of the brands. And cement industry, on its own has got the obligation of EPR, and it can recycle this particular packaging material so that it can come out of this uh, obligation under EPR rules. Where is the material available for utilizing as AFR as far as EPR is concerned? So one is the dump yard, where the dump yard goes through a segregation plant and then plastic waste and SCF, or it could be municipal solid waste, which goes through the MRF, where the materials are segregated into different categories, and then they get categorized as plastic waste or SCF. So, as cement industry, we need to be looking at both these options which are available around us, and then we need to start tying up the requirement of these materials from these sources. This requires a lot of initiative from the cement industry, by the way, because there at many locations these facilities are not there and they need to be created. They are getting created, so we have to partner them or be a part of the whole process so that the relevant share comes to us. When we are discussing the plastic waste and the SCF is basically the segregated combustible fraction, which is mainly the category 2, category 3 plastics, as well as other combustible materials like contaminated paper, cloth, leather, rubber, tires, pieces, tube pieces, or chappal, shoes, resin pieces, thermocol, all kinds of combustible materials. So, plastic waste and SCF is actually not AFR for the cement plant. It has to go through a process of pre-processing into RDF. So what looks like SCF and what looks like RDF is very clearly shown these particular photographs. The SCF does not have any quality and consistency, whereas RDF has substantial quality and consistency. And therefore, it gets utilized as a input material in the cement manufacture. The higher the TSR that you are going for, better has to be this quality consideration and the consistency in the material. And therefore, cement plants themselves are setting up such facilities, or they are trying to resource the RDF material, which looks like the one here in the photo, from the processing facilities which are available elsewhere. When we talk about the business model or the opportunity that I'm talking about, one is, as Mr. Amit Shah was saying, the higher the energy utilization from the plastic and the SCF, the coal replacement happens, and therefore, if we are able to receive this material at a cheaper price, obviously we'll be able to reduce the cost of energy. So that becomes a green source for us in this particular model. Then obviously, when we use RDF, which is not a good material like coal, it has got moisture, it has got chlorine, it has got some ash content, or its burnability is difficult than coal. We will be having some challenges, like for example, the production losses may increase, or the energy consumption will increase because of moisture content, etc. And also there will be facilities which we are creating. It will involve operating people, it will involve other input materials, maintenance issues, etc. So there will be some costs associated with this AFR utilization, but finally there has to be saving, and these savings will come from the EPR related expenses. Other than the energy saving that we are talking about, we would have spent some EPR related expenses as PIBO, as cement industry, or there are other brands who would have spent the EPR expenditure, which comes to you as cement industry. And finally, you get the profits and the plastic credits to you. So if we want to achieve better deal in the entire process, we have to be looking at reducing the impact of red and yellow arrows here while utilizing the AFRs, and increasing the intensity of the green arrows which are shown in this diagram so that the profitability increases. It's possible, as Mr. Amit was saying, that we can achieve as low as zero cost of AFR utilization when we take the entire business model in perspective. So, and this is something which I don't think over a slide one can explain. It takes quite amount of time. There are a lot of investigations which need to be done in the cement plant to understand how this can be done. How without capex, how one can really set up the ensure that the AFR utilization can go high. That also needs to be looked at from the existing arrangements which are available. What kind of strategy needs to be implemented so that without capex we are able to increase our AFR utilization. All that is a part of investigation which needs to be done, and certainly it can be achieved. So Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, that's all I wanted to share in this particular presentation. And it gives you an idea that yes, there are opportunity of reducing the cost in the cement manufacture, availing the EPR benefits, and also, kind of diluting the EPR obligations that we ourselves have got. And that's broadly I thought I should share with you. We will discuss this in more details when the questions come up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ulas Bhai. Ulas Bhai is being very modest. He has actually done a lot of improvements in the TSR, some of which I have also seen, some of which I have also participated. And what I have noticed is that there are 3 or 4 things that one can look at. One can obviously look at the capacities of feeding of various AFR materials into the kiln, into the calciner. But more importantly, if you do not, if suppose you have a pre-processing facility, then it's a different case. But if you do not have, then you have to be very innovative, I would say, in good use, an optimal use of existing resources or existing AFR raw materials to improve the enhance and improve the AFR use. Also, as Ulas Bhai has been doing, and I have been only learning in this process, is to see which in which range, where are you in terms of the threshold limits of the processes and how far you can push the envelope. It's called pushing the envelope how far, which means if allowed, how much can you increase chlorides, sulfur, heavy metals, and ash content these are inputs, but ash content is one of the outputs in your product. Which means what I'm trying to say here is optimizing also means maximizing also means optimizing, and that can be done within the limits of the process. That the process allows you 1.5 let's say chlorides, chlorine, and some ratio of sulfur alkali ratio, then you have to see how to maximize it. I have seen in some, I don't want to take names, but I have seen some brilliant examples from cement companies who have not just maximized but gone over the red line, which means gone overboard in getting higher and higher realization of AFR. Because finally it is a cost game. The game is in terms of profitability. So if you are negative cost on the raw material, which is AFR, in some cases is able to take care of a little bit of inefficiencies. Let's say you have higher moisture, for example, then you should go for it. It is finally a game of calories at cost, heat at cost, right? And we know that the coal and petcoke is at the highest cost right now, and we also know that probably it will only go higher from where we are. So everyone in this call, I'm sure, is concerned, or their managers are concerned, or their finance managers are concerned about the cost. The other thing that I want to definitely put it here before I hand it over to Aman is that there are other sources of material which may be not just municipal solid waste, but it could be industrial waste which you don't have access to, or you may not know, but maybe we know because of my past experience, because of my connections with FMCG brands. I have 30 years of FMCG experience, and I am connected, and we are connected. Ulas Bhai and us are connected to so many municipalities, so many brands. It is possible that you have something which you do not have access to right now. So, no, it's said that what you don't know, you don't know. So, some things we might know that, okay, there is a certain source which is able to get you high CV at much reduced cost and even with some profitability. Suppose I am able to arrange sludge from a plant which has a little bit of moisture. Fine, you have to deal with the moisture, but it also is like the industry is ready to part with a decent amount of money for you to put it in the cement plant. Okay, so you'll have to think through as we optimize. And on the infrastructure side, there are so many other options that I have just begun to realize in terms of optimizing the infrastructure to make sure that the mix is good and you are able to optimize the quality standards. Now, with that, I am going to stop here because this topic is of great interest, and I'm sure a lot of questions will also come in the space. As Ulas Bhai mentioned already, that most of these are answered through a proper deep dive and an inspection and a site visit for your plant. Then only you decide what is the geography, what is your AFR infrastructure current, how much can it take, what are the lab results, do you have an AFR lab, what are the surrounding municipalities, surrounding industries in 200, 300, 400 kilometers who can give you some material which will take your AFR up, and can you densify the AFR, which means that can you increase more calories from reduced volume. So can you take denser materials? Can you take more liquids which are higher density in calorie terms? So there are several exercises that has to be done, and it is not something that we can give you a generic um, what you call dose or vitamin that will take care of everything in your plant. So that we can come to you and work with you. There are some, we can definitely, Aman is the person who to reach out to, and he can build a proposal in which, if required, Ulas Bhai and I can even travel to your location and be part of this study and improvement exercise of enhancement of TSR. Now I'm going to turn it to Aman, and I would request Aman to take through the slides. I have given you the high level, but Aman will take you step by step of cement co-processing alone, which is how does the cement co-processing along with the AFR utilization define how much credit you will get in which category, and so on and so forth. So Aman, please take over.
Thank you so much, sir. Just so in the deep understanding in new EPR execution guideline by CPCB for plastic waste processor, I'm starting with the notification that CPCB has released. So CPCB has released guideline for EPR execution on 19th November for POs and PWB. In this guideline, in the module 3, there is a generation and transfer of EPR certificates by PWB. This module comprises two sections. First is physical verification and another is generation and transfer of certificate. So let's talk about the first section, physical verification. If we see its workflow, then it's a start after registration. When you got registered, then this step will be followed. Designated officer of SPCB will get verification request on their login page. As soon as they grant registration to a PWP, after that DO assign the RO, regional officer, for physical verification. RO will inspect all the data in the checklist. Then RO will submit on-site report and recommendation to DO, and the DO will process further, and he can approve or reject the application. If your application would approve, then you would be allowed to generate and transfer the EPR certificate. So this is the checklist of RO. RO will inspect all these data on site and submit it with remark and recommendation to DO. So in this checklist, we can see the company details, plot area, number of workers, GPS location, authorized person, PAN, Aadhaar, registration, process flow diagram, consent under air and water, authorized under hazardous waste, upload pictures, plant machinery details, plant waste processing, sanction power load, electricity bill, waste management details, pollution control, disaster management plan on site and off site, overall recommendation to DO. And in the case of cement co-processor, there will be followed by test report, the which is include that the uh, type of plastic in the AFR. So this is the DO and RO dashboard and the whole physical verification process. This is the snapshot of the process between DO and RO for your reference. Now move on the most important topic, generation and transfer of EPR certificate. This will be complete in 4 important steps: plastic waste procurement, production, inventory and sales, wallet, in-wallet certificate potential, certificate generation and transfer. You will have to enter all the procurement related data of plastic waste. In this case, the plastic waste which is in including in alternative fuel and raw material. Production will make your inventory. After that, you have to show sale. After sale, the plastic credit will be in your wallet. From wallet, you would be able to generate and transfer the EPR certificate. Now let's understand the whole process. So in figure, there is a dashboard of PWP. PWP. There is a section 4. There is in 4 sections: registration, renewal, procurement details, wallet and credit exchange, and annual filing. In the procurement section, when you will add the procurement details, you will have to add name, address, plastic waste supplier, category 1, 2, 3, maybe one category 4, quantity of plastic waste supplied, kg or ton, date of procurement of plastic waste, date of entity, GST of supplier. If GST is not available, then PAN and Aadhaar of supplier has to be provided. Providing GST details of supplier is mandatory for waste to energy, waste to oil, and co-processors. So GST details of supplier is mandatory to all of you. So the next step is add the procurement details. In the case of recycler, you would add process code, product, plastic waste category, percent of recycled plastic in the product, production dates, plastic waste quantity category shall be auto calculated as per the confirmed conversion factor during physical verification. So this is the waste to energy plants. This is for waste to energy plants, waste to oil plants, Now let's talk about the coprocessors. In the case of coprocessors also will have to submit test report. It includes calorific value of feed, percentage of plastic categories, like you have to show that which type of categories of plastic you are used as a RDA. In production details, coprocessors would add clinker production and percentage of energy contributed by AFR, and the quantity of different quantity of plastic process shall be calculated based on the above two values as well as test report. So after the production, the inventory window come up. In the inventory and sales section, you have to show your sales by providing production type, GST of seller, GST of seller. It means GST of your own company, uh, account number. Then you have to click on generate EPR invoice. Then your plastic credit will be shown in your wallet. So this is the invoice generation. You have to click on click on generate EPR invoice number. Then you have to add cement and clinker sales. An addition parameter final product cement clinker has to be selected, and quantity of clinker in the final product has to be added. It has to be further checked that the clinker sales in the generate invoice section is same as that the add sales quantity. So this is a wallet. In the wallet, you have to see. You can see that see that the all categories, category 1, 2, 3, 4, and your available credits. Now this is the certificate generation. So you can generate certificate by by clicking on generate certificates. Certificates of different denomination, 1, 10, 50, 100, 500, 1000 ton of different categories can be generated on the portal. Category of certificates and certificate value shall have to be keyed in by the PWP. So you have to generate your EPR certificate by this denomination. Like you have to transfer the 100 tons certificate, then you have to first generate the certificate. Then it is the certificate transfer window. The PWP can transfer the generated certificate by clicking on transfer certificate to registered PBOs. You have to here you have to select the category 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and transfer from self, entity type, brand owner, producer, yeah, importer. Then entity name, you have to select the entity name by scrolling down, by clicking on this scroll down. Then total certificate value, like you have to certificate of you have to transfer the certificate 10 metric ton. Then you have to enter the certificate value. Then there is the denomination. It is the same process when you have to when you are going to deposit money in the bank. Then there is here to submit. Then it will be credited by your account, then and debited on PBO's account. And here you can check the all the details of transferred certificate. So I am going to stop my presentation and over to Amit sir.
Okay, thanks, Aman. This is a run through of the screenshots of how the EPR generation, credit, and wallet transfers will happen. Now, no, it's like a very short presentation for you, but just to give a good idea to you that this process is now going to be set in motion where cement companies who were giving co-processing certificates to their AFR suppliers, or even if cement companies were wanting to do EPR and have been doing EPR, are now coming under this kind of a process. So all EPR EPR certificate generation will be now in the hands of the cement companies and not in the hands of waste management companies. So you are a very important set of people, and that's why we are coming to you, because we require EPR certificates. We have clients who are waiting for such certificates, and we'll be very, very happy to work with you. So with that, what I would request is, if you have questions, please, if you could just type in the chat box, or even if you, I'm going to start with the ones which are in the chat box, and then I will probably open it up and ask from you if you want to know. Also, specifically put your questions by opening your mic and